Hi everyone. This isn't the kind of video I usually make. In fact, this is probably the hardest thing I've ever had to say out loud. I've been wrestling with this for months, for what feels like forever, and I can't carry it alone anymore. I need to be honest, with myself, with you, and eventually with the person I've hurt more than anyone. I cheated. There, I said it. The words feel like lead in my mouth. I cheated on my boyfriend, Mark. We've been together for 5 years. 5 wonderful, stable, comfortable years. Or so I thought. Or so it seemed. Looking back, I think our relationship had become predictable. We had our routines, our inside jokes, our shared future laid out before us. But somewhere along the line, the spark, the excitement, it just faded. Not in a dramatic, explosive way, more like a slow, quiet dimming. I felt safe, I felt loved, but I also felt unseen. Like a chapter that had been read so many times, there was nothing new to discover. And that's not an excuse, not at all, but it's the honest truth of where I was mentally. I was lonely in my own relationship. And then, one night, just out of sheer boredom, out of curiosity, I downloaded a dating app. Not the serious ones, just one of those swipe and chat apps. My intention, I swear, was just to look, to see what was out there, to maybe get a little ego boost from some harmless digital flirtation. I set up a profile with a fake name, blurry photos, just enough to be vague. The anonymity was intoxicating. It was a thrill I hadn't felt in years, just being able to be someone new, to talk to strangers without any real-world consequences. That's where I met Alex. He was funny, engaging. He asked me questions about myself that Mark hadn't asked in years. He made me laugh until my sides hurt. We'd message for hours, late into the night, long after Mark had fallen asleep next to me. It started so innocently, just words on a screen, but those words began to build something, a connection, a sense of intimacy that felt incredibly real, incredibly potent. He saw me. Ely saw me, or at least the version of me I was presenting online. Sad, and the attention? Oh God, the attention was like a drug. It filled a void I hadn't even realized was so vast. The messages escalated, from witty banter to more personal confessions to daring suggestions. The idea of meeting up was floated, tentatively at first, then with increasing frequency and intensity. Every time I saw his name pop up on my phone, my heart would do a little flip. It was a rush, a forbidden excitement that made me feel alive in a way I hadn't in so long. But underneath that thrill, a gnawing guilt began to settle, a cold dread that twisted in my stomach whenever I looked at Mark. The day we finally decided to meet, I was a mess. My hands were shaking, my palms were sweaty. I lied to Mark, told him I was meeting a friend for coffee. Every step I took towards that cafe felt like walking on a tightrope over an abyss. My mind was screaming at me to turn back, to delete the app, to run home to Mark and beg for forgiveness for even thinking about this. But only thing pulled me forward, a powerful, dangerous curiosity, the promise of that spark, that feeling of being wanted, that magnetic pull I felt towards Alex. Tearful, she looks down, eyes welling up a little. Surprised. The moment I saw him, it was like everything stopped. He looked exactly like his photos, but more vibrant, more present. The air around us crackled, energetic. We talked for hours, the coffee grew cold, and it felt like no time had passed at all. And then he kissed me. It was in the doorway of the cafe, just as we were saying goodbye. A quick, tentative kiss at first, then deeper. It was illicit, it was wrong, it was a betrayal. And God help me, in that moment, it was everything I craved. It was like a jolt of electricity had passed through me, waking up parts of myself I hadn't realized had been dormant. The thrill was overwhelming, terrifying, intoxicating. That kiss led to another meeting, and another. Soon, it wasn't just innocent coffee dates anymore. We started having a full-blown affair, sneaking around, making up elaborate lies, sending frantic texts whenever Mark was out of the room. Every stolen moment with Alex was a heady mix of passion and terror. The secrecy amplified everything. The intensity of our conversations, the longing for physical touch, the exhilaration of almost getting caught. I was living two completely separate lives. By day, I was Mark's loving girlfriend, sharing meals, watching movies, planning our future. By night, or whenever I could slip away, I was Alex's lover, caught up in a whirlwind of new emotions and physical intimacy. The guilt was a constant companion. It was a physical ache in my chest, a knot in my stomach that never loosened. Every time Mark looked at me with trust in his eyes, I felt like a monster. Every time I kissed him goodnight, I could still feel Alex's lips on mine, Alex's scent lingering on my skin. I was disgusted with myself. I watched myself do it, almost like an out-of-body experience. I saw the lies spill from my lips, saw the pain I was storing up for Mark, saw the person I was becoming, and I hated her. I hated myself. The initial thrill started to curdle. It wasn't passion anymore, it was just escape. A desperate, selfish escape from a reality I was too cowardly to confront honestly. The emotional toll became unbearable. I was exhausted, constantly on edge, trapped in a web of my own making. The excitement I initially felt with Alex faded, replaced by a hollow emptiness. He wasn't a solution, he was just another layer to the problem. The affair wasn't making me happy, it was just making me miserable in a different, more complicated way. I felt dirty, cheap, and utterly alone. One morning, I woke up next to Mark. He was sleeping peacefully, his arm thrown over me, and I couldn't breathe. The weight of my deception was suffocating me. I looked at him, truly looked at him, and all I could feel was profound sadness for what I had done to us, to him, to myself. I realized that the short-lived thrill, the fleeting excitement, wasn't worth the permanent damage I was inflicting. I ended things with Alex that day. It was messy and it hurt, but it needed to happen. He didn't understand, and in a way, I don't blame him. I had dragged him into my mess too. And now I'm here, still carrying this immense burden. I haven't told Mark yet. The fear is crippling. The thought of seeing the hurt in his eyes, of shattering his trust, of losing everything, it's a living nightmare. But I know I have to. I can't live like this anymore. I can't pretend. There's no excuse for what I did. None. I broke his trust, and in doing so, I broke myself. I took the easy, selfish way out, looking for validation and excitement in all the wrong places, instead of facing my own unhappiness and communicating with the person I supposedly loved. If you're watching this, and you're in a relationship that feels stagnant, or if you're feeling that dangerous pull towards something illicit online, please learn from my mistake. The temporary thrill, the fleeting escape, it's not worth the devastating consequences. The guilt is a permanent scar. The regret is a silence so loud it's deafening. I don't know what's going to happen when I tell Mark. I don't know if we'll recover. I don't know if I can ever truly forgive myself. Sighs, but I had to say it. I had to acknowledge the truth. And maybe, just maybe, by sharing this, it can prevent someone else from making the same devastating choices I did. Grateful. Thank you for listening.